Because where I come from, we wasn't taught shit. We want to talk about funding. We want to talk about credit. We was taught to go work a job, make a little bit of money, and be trapped our whole life. Getting into having good credit. Where does a person start? My credit's messed up. Where do I start?
If you know that your credit is not good, don't wait until you're trying to buy a house to fix your credit. I need my credit done right now, but you know you need your credit done 18 months ago. It was bad 18 months ago.
Somebody said, call them and use 16 USC.
Yeah. It wouldn't come off.
It would not.
And
come
I'm
off.
very good at credit. And I told her, I said, that's not going to happen. I think that's what it is. People don't want their credit until they need it.
To get the help, because if you know that there's people that you watch every day that know what you need, why are you trying to do it yourself? And now you have 15 inquiries. Well, I got a 750 credit score, but I didn't get approved. You don't know the data points. We do.
I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone. Gotta get it on the daily. All I want is dubs. You know what I'm on. I've been chasing after paper. All I know is run money marathons. I got money on my mind. I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line unless it's money on the phone. Gotta get it on the daily. All I want is dubs. You know what I'm on. I've been chasing after paper. All I know is run money marathons.
Welcome to another episode of the Digital Billionaires Club podcast, where we have real conversations with real people in real time. It's your host, Peter Parkkerr, CEO of Digital Billionaires, and I'm here with...
Day the Trends Coach.
See, you almost messed up that time. See, I didn't have 3 takes, but you almost messed up that time. But I'm going to let you slide on that, and we're going to continue. But we got 2 special guests today who's going to help you get that bag, who's going to help you get the funding, who's going to help you get your wealth together. We got T-Money, and we got Mile in the building.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
Thank
go.
you. Welcome.
Good to be here.
Hey, appreciate y'all for being patient with our extra long intro today. You know what I mean? We took a couple times, but we back. We up. We ready. So, all right, guys, we got you here today, and a little bit about our podcast. So we like to call ourselves the information extractors, right?
Okay.
So what we like to do is we like to take the knowledge from our guests, right, and see if the people will actually utilize it and give it to the people. Because where I come from, I come from the streets of Philadelphia. We wasn't taught shit, if I'm just being honest, right? We want to talk about funding. We want to talk about credit. We was taught to go work a job, make a little bit of money, and be trapped our whole life. That's just what it was, unless you're a basketball player or the other thing. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
So let's get into it, guys. So talk to me about a little bit about what you guys do.
So basically, we came up with a program called the Bulletproof Entrepreneur. What that does is it takes someone who maybe have a hobby or don't know where to start. We help them with their mindset first. We help them logo, branding, marketing, and structure their business and find the funding that they need and give them coaching all the way up until scaling.
So, okay. So that means you do everything. So that means from start to finish, you help them with the logo, the website, the funnels,
The foundation.
Get them the bag. And then you teach them to do what to do with that bag.
Then we still coach them and we help them scale the business once it gets to where it needs to be. So let's say we get you funded for 50, you got your website, you got all that, we set everything up, we got your business starting to make a little bit of money, but now it's time to scale. Let's say, you sell a product, like we got a tea and wine lounge, right, that we open, but it's still under construction. So we had to think to ourselves, what do we need to do to make money while that construction thing is still going? We don't spend $180,000. We need to be recouping the money early, not waiting for the business to open to make money for 6 months to a year. So what do we need to do? What we gonna do is we're gonna start an online sales, right? We sell the tea and wine lounge in the store, but we're going to sell herbal teas online under the same brand as the store. So we started doing that. We scaled that very quickly to $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. It started booming immediately.
Okay.
Right. So we already making money while the business, the brick and mortar is under construction. So even if the brick and mortar gets started and the business don't take off like we projected to take off, the online sales has already leveled the playing field. Because we got that money coming in and it's a surplus. So if we say, okay, we want the store to be doing, when it first start, $30,000, $40,000 a month, and it's only running at 20. Well, we could take a little 20 from that 50K of online sales and still put it in there, level the business off, and still start to scale the business.
Okay, so wait a minute, let's slow it down. Okay, so, now everybody can't do that, right? So what you just said, you scaled that fast, right?
Right.
A lot of people is trying to figure out the sauce to even how to do that. So let's go back and let's talk about the strategy to even get to that point.
Yeah, what do people need? Sorry about that. What do people need to come to you ready? So that way you can go ahead and get them funding.
They don't even have to be ready.
Okay.
Right. So let's just say we all been there. We all was our startups before, right?
Absolutely.
We didn't even know how to do the LLC or should it be an S corp for tax pro. We didn't know all that information, that jargon. Some of us already had bad credit. We didn't have no money to get the business funded, and we definitely didn't know how to brand and market ourselves. So what we do is we take even an ordinary person. It could just be a hobby you got, and you say, I want to turn it into a business. Well, how do I do that? Well, we're going to take you through the foundation, steps first. Make sure you get the business set up legally. Make sure you got the DUNS number. Make sure that you have everything in place to even operate as a business legally, right? And then we say, okay, well, what's your credit looking like? You might have a 580 credit score. Can you get some funding at 580? Maybe. But will it be the best option for you? Maybe not. So let's go ahead and start working on your personal credit. So you got a good personal guarantee. So it's easy for us to get you approved for certain things and get you funded quickly.
Okay.
Right. And so you got that part. Now you've been working with us for about 90 days to 6 months. You got the credit, starting to move up. We took you from a 580 to about a 680. Now it's time to get you funded. Right. And we get you your first $50,000 to $100,000. So we coaching you through the whole process.
Right.
Now, guess what you need to do? You need to take at least 25% of that 100,000 that we got you and put it aside for your branding and marketing. You need to put that aside first. Because if you got a product or a service, you're going to have to market it. You may even need some ad spend. You may need to create a funnel. We don't know what you need to do with your business, but we know that eventually you're going to need those marketing dollars, right? And so once you got the marketing dollars, we started the business and now we're ready to sell. Got to start promoting it. What's your social media looking like? Let's make sure that's popping. We're taking you through every step that you could possibly have in any type of coaching.
In your line of business, what would you say has been your bread and butter when it comes to scaling to actually making some real money?
Well, you got to rephrase that. What has been my bread and butter?
So bread and butter meaning like in marketing and advertising, what has been one of your key things that's been like, yo, this works very well?
I mean, to be honest with you, you in my line of business as a coach, we all coaches here. I feel like you got to have a funnel. I feel like if you, instead of going to go look for the customers, I think you should have a playing field where the customers are coming to look for you. And that costs money.
For sure.
That's a part of the funding that you get, right? And again, like you said earlier, most people not even going to know these kind of steps that we're talking about. This is like high level doing whatever you're doing. And so,
jargon.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It's a funnel.
I'm going to put some
Like, what is
definitions
that?
underneath these episodes. By the way.
Yeah.
And I advise anybody that got especially a service-based business where you looking for clients and you got whatever your offer is, whether it's a low ticket, mid ticket, or high ticket offer. And guys, we're saying these terms that we know you don't know yet, but we just kind of like putting the stuff in the atmosphere so you can go start looking and see what this stuff is, but you need to have a funnel if you want to run that service-based business because it's bringing the customers to you. You're not really actively looking, for the customers. What you have to be good at is when the customers come, are you a good salesperson? Can you close the people and get them into your programs? That's the part I think that you still need the coaching on. What is the strategy?
Let me ask you a question.
Right.
Okay, I like that. So
we're having a team that does.
So I got two different sides of business friends that I have, right? So some people say in order to get your feet wet, you got to learn how to close yourself. You got to be kind of bootstrapped, whatever. Then I got my other guy who's like, no, you have to hire a closer, hire somebody. So what's your take on what side do you take?
I'm going with your boy. I mean, even what we're doing now, when you're running ads and stuff, time is money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I don't want to learn how to close. I would rather hire the people to close it. And then, I come in and boom, it's already ready for me. So I would say that you should hire the closers. Am I a good closer? I'm an excellent closer, but I've been in the industry of network marketing for years. So I understood how to do that kind of stuff. And I do teach and coach people how to do it. But if you have the funding already in place, why not just get those people to do it for you?
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Because sometimes we just start and everybody's on different levels. So, our thing is just get started. So if you don't have the money there, you may have to close it. Or if you're a good closer, a good salesperson, you may have to close it. But,
So you said network marketing, right?
Yeah,
Not
I
to
love that you say that.
Not to ponder too much on network
No, you
marketing.
have to though.
But we both
we come
started
from.
off.
I'm still in network marketing for almost 11 years right now.
Network marketing. If you're an entrepreneur listening to this, because this is to me a good, subject. Network marketing is the best, teaching ground that you probably can get in any industry.
Now tell them why, because most people that are listening to this, right? A lot of people
it's a
they
misconception.
shun on network marketing, or they like, network marketing.
A pyramid scheme.
Right.
And I'm like, you go to a pyramid, there's only one CEO, but you can actually bring a bunch of people with you and everyone is making money.
I think the average person that thinks that way is a person who don't understand investing. So it's you get to come in at a low end, maybe it could be $100 investment all the way up to $1,000. That's very small investment to start a business.
Yes.
And so I think that right there alone should be attracting you to do that, because you don't have to necessarily get funding. You can hustle up $500, right? So you're able to enter in, at a low cost. You get free mentor and coaching. You get personal development. You also understand business because you can build teams.
Right.
Team building is the best thing that anybody in our industry can learn how to do. I built huge teams. I don't made $1 million, in the industry. I don't sold products and services and understand how this thing works. Every network marketing company works. You just got to find the one you want to work. Any one of them can work out for you.
And that you believe in.
Yeah, exactly.
They
all work.
Become a product of the product. Like, it's hard for you to sell something
that you don't like,
test or you're not really sure of. So then, you kind of having that eerie.
Yeah, mine is travel. So, honey, where are we going next?
Bali, like you said earlier.
Exactly. I'm going to
a lot
Bali.
of people have been asking me lately too, like, why did I leave the network marketing industry? I left the network marketing industry because of personal reasons, not because it did anything bad to me.
Right.
I made the money. I built the teams. I had fulfillment in it. I didn't have what a lot of people say they had in it, but I left because I knew that God was calling me to do something bigger on my own terms. In network marketing, there's still rules to be followed.
Yeah, especially when you're going on content and posting what you can say, what you cannot say.
And it's good because you shouldn't be saying certain stuff. But
I made $20,000 last month. Not everyone's making $20,000.
Would I ever do network marketing again? That's a baby for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But right now I'm in a mind space to where I say, I can help many more people start at the ground level who may not necessarily want to do network marketing, who's struggling with their business, who, may have a hobby and don't know how to turn it into a business. I think I can be more of a better coach in that fashion. So that's how we started that.
Well, I think with network marketing too, I think when people look at TikTok shopping, they look like when they sell on Amazon. What people don't realize is, if I'm being honest, you're really making pennies on the dollar when you're dealing with Amazon, TikTok shopping.
Oh yeah, right? Affiliates. They don't make what we make.
But that's 100%. Network marketing though. It's affiliate marketing. It's just another, term. Is another term for the Gen Zers that are, 18 years old now. They don't know network marketing. They know affiliate, and they're
still
creating.
Somebody's product.
But what I'm saying is, if you're hating on network marketing,
you're doing it every
affiliate
day.
Marketing, you're getting paid way less.
Direct sales is still the largest industry on the planet. So they can all hate as much as they want to. It's not going anywhere.
I got Amazon. I have TikTok Shop. And network marketing still pays me 50% off of everything I sell.
And
my Amazon
I would suggest
that.
I would suggest a lot of people get started in a network marketing company.
Exactly.
Because like you said, the team building. But then I think one of the another big thing is like, you don't, like when TikTok went down, right? I had grown men calling me crying.
Oh, we had those people who was going crazy.
And guess what? You grab their hand and you teach them. Listen, you've had this hustle for a long time. Let me teach you how now you can turn that into a real business.
Yeah.
In your line of business.
Absolutely.
Everyone is needing that. It was 170 million people went down when TikTok went down. We don't know what's going to happen because they extended it 90 days. It can happen anytime.
I think what those people didn't learn is how to diversify their income. Like it's not that they went down. They went down because they was unprotected.
They didn't take the team. They didn't take you don't know how to scale out. Because I'm like, if there is some type of way to extract everyone's information from TikTok, then you're winning. Because then you can take them somewhere else.
And then we're marketing. We know to get our team information to keep up. See, we we know that part that they don't know.
Yeah.
When I'm bringing in thousands of people on the team, you think I don't have a database of everybody that I'm bringing in, not relying on that business?
Yeah.
That's
Welcome
not my
to the
business.
team. Here's my number. Let me call me if you need anything.
Or you sell another product later. You know, we all want to buy from who we know, like, and trust. And if I bought something from you before I buy something from you again.
And had good, I guess, synergy there before,
Yeah.
or with their family members there. If it's not for them now, because, life happens to people, they'll introduce you to someone else.
I'll be a lifetime advocate for network marketing. I don't
but
care
I think
what
with
else I'm doing.
all of them, like one of the things that when he said we helping people build their businesses and other stuff was whether it's network marketing or solopreneur, entrepreneur, whatever, is what I feel like I can't give legal advice, but what I feel like a lot of us don't have is the structuring of how to open up a high yield savings account, high yield checkings account
and stuff. Yeah, where can you find it?
The Roth IRA, the index funds, all that type of stuff, because we think that it's so much. And
someone's looking at this video, they don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I wish that I actually would have invested in it in my first business, from making $3 million to making nothing, and starting over. And I'm like, man, if I would have knew just to compound and put some money over here and it would start growing on its own and I forgot about it because I was making the money.
So you said you had to start over.
Uh-huh.
Talk to me about that story. What happened?
COVID came, couple different problems came in the partnership, and we got sued, so we had to dissolve the business. And at the time, the business was operating out of Dayton, Ohio. So being that it was operating out of Dayton, Ohio, I was in Houston, Texas, because
same type of business.
It was healthcare.
Okay.
It was healthcare.
Okay.
It was but how I got back into this is, my check was $10,000 a month. Then it went from $600. Then it went to $300. And my overhead in Houston was clearly about $5,000 with car note, rent, all the other stuff. And I had a couple thousand saved up, but that's nothing if you don't have anything coming in. So it was hard for me and my mindset to shift and be like, I didn't know Texas. So I'm like, man, what am I going to do down here? So the first thing I started doing was living off my credit. I didn't have no money coming in. And I was like, what do I know how to do? Well, I was in a network marketing that underneath his leadership in 2016 and 17. I was like, I know how to fix credit. And I, and who do you know with less than perfect credit score? Everybody, right? Everybody, whether they had it before or whatever. And most of the time we don't know what to do with it. Most people say, I got 800, I got 700. And now in my mind, I'm like, that stuff really don't mean anything if you
don't
not
have
leveraging.
Right.
So
and
having
a
700 credit score and just being able to, get a car is cool. Like if you're 22, 23, my son is 20. So he came out the gate with a 785 because I was already putting him on my stuff. But other than that, you don't really know what to do with that credit score. My mom had a good credit score, but she wasn't leveraging it. And at that time, I didn't even know to tell people to leverage it. So I had to live off of it. And I said, I can go back out here and fix credit. So I started relearning all the stuff over, but on my own. Right. And just kind of, I had to make money. So I was fixing credit. Then I was like, I got to know some people in Houston. I started door dashing. And, I guess I built up enough confidence because that business going all the way down, it took a lot out of me and feelings hurt. I'm saying I can't go back home. How can I go back home and be like, hey guys, So with that, I just got busy. I learned the systems over. I learned how to leverage my credit. I took out a HELOC loan on one of my homes and paid down all my, because my utilization was high. So I had to pay down all the utilization, and then I was able to get funded because I already had businesses that I didn't touch. I just opened them for some reason. I don't know why.
And had them sitting there for a while.
Yeah, so it was, maturing. So once I paid down the utilization, I went in. And I had a plan, and I went in and I rebuilt my home care business. Then next thing you know, the city asked me that I want to do the wine and tea. Okay. And I'm like, I don't know shit about brick and mortar. I don't even know shit about marketing. I called him because before, like I said, he's coached me and he's led teams. Me, I'm working in the field that I'm in, home care. So I did nursing homes and hospitals. So I'm like, okay, now we're going to have to do customer service. And I'm big on customer service. I'm big on getting it. So I'm like, how do I teach this to other people? What are my expectations?
Right.
And I reached out to him and I'm like, man, how do you feel about partnering with me with this new project, this new baby I got? And I showed him around for a couple months of what my business plan looked like. And he caught on to it. He said, I'm in. And I was like, okay. But then our permits and stuff started getting held back. As a matter of fact, it's still getting, waiting on our liquor permits. And it's called Sayoko Leaf and Vine. And he like, it's getting boring. We ain't making no money.
Right.
So I'm like, well, I can go to this vendor event. So I started going to vendor events. And he like, we need something. Like, I know you making a tea, because I was making bubble teas and stuff. I know you making a tea, but we need something to send them home with. So then I was like, you know what? Herbal teas. I'm into detoxing and all the other stuff. Let's get it going. And he was like, all right, cool. You go to your vendor events. I ain't really no labor person, but I got you. I'll make all the marketing and stuff. And then he like, I think we should take this thing online. And it went from there. But then again, he said, I think that we need to help other people. We kind of went through this similar situations throughout this COVID and all this other stuff. So he like, we need to help people bulletproof their business. And I'm like,
and
what do that look like? Yeah. What do that look like? And it was like, okay, we're going to take them through the mindset, the credit, the brandable names, the suggesting accounts to open, and take them all the way till finish.
And what better way than someone who already went through it and is like, I am not trying to go back over here, but I'm going to show my people all the things that I've learned to pivot and become bulletproof. That's amazing.
So, okay, it seems like everything starts with mindset and then credit. That's what it seems like, and I think we're in a phase right now where a lot of people, excuse my French, are effed up, right? They messed up, right? And they're trying to figure it out. But it seems like when you're messed up, if you have decent credit, you can depend on it to get you through. But if you don't, where does one start? Mindset to lead into, getting into having good credit. Where does a person start? My credit's messed up. Where do I start?
That's where you start, to me. Like, the first thing, if you know that your credit is not good, don't wait until you're trying to buy a house to fix your credit. I think a lot of people get caught up in, I need my credit done right now, but you need your credit done 18 months ago. It was bad 18 months ago.
Right.
You don't have 2 income tax checks. Like, what's happening? I told you, give me $1,000. I'll hook you up, I think that's what it is. People don't want their credit until they need it.
Yeah, and I always tell people, my kids, whoever is like what we hear today is about the things that we done yesterday. So, you have to start, and then you'll work on you'll look like something tomorrow. So everything about today is everything that we did yesterday and the day before and the year before. So that's generally how life works. Like, even with my credit, I got a late payment and it's shot down 67 points, right? So I'm the credit lady at this time. Yeah. But I still screwed up, and I still share my vulnerability to my clients and to anybody I'm sharing it right now. Like, I don't always have an 800. It was just 800 in December, and now it's probably down to 767. So it go up and down. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
If you
talking to people with 400 something. It go up and down. Like, people are with 500.
Mine was at 6. But okay, so it was at 750, and then I couldn't get out of this 676, 664, like whatever.
Payment.
I couldn't get out of it for shit for like a year.
Yeah.
Really?
No matter how somebody said, call them and use 16 USC.
It wouldn't come off.
It would not.
And
come
I'm
off.
very good at credit. And I told her, I said, that's not going to happen.
I had to close the account and then dispute it.
We said,
late
payment with US Bank.
So we got to close the whole credit card account and then take that dispute route. And that probably will get rid of it. Versus it being an opening account and the company not budging on the late payment.
They wasn't. They kept sending back like, this is yours, this is yours. I'm like, well, what about COVID? What about?
And you were able to do that because you had other credit before. You had a thick file. Did you just get started with credit?
I was able to do what?
No, she had a thick file already.
Okay, I was looking for that.
Yeah, she had a thick file. So and I tell people and stop listening to these credit people saying don't close cards and all that. No, let me tell you something. Some cards you can close.
It was only so one part of me was on it because I had that card maybe long, right?
Okay.
But it was like $1,000 card that I had other cards.
So catch your question. What cards do you suggest people close if they have to close?
That one, the US Bank one.
It's a subprime bank.
Any
She's talking about
subprime
a
lenders,
subprime.
cards that you have, I wouldn't necessarily tell you to close them until you have built the profile, right?
Okay.
More
Because
cards.
what if
Yep.
you have like a good payment history just on that sorry card, right?
Yeah.
Got you.
They gave you a $300 card, but you've been
And it's
paying
20
it.
years.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you've been paying it for like 10 years.
Got you.
You know, don't necessarily close it just because it's a bad subprime lender, because the payment history is going to wipe you out.
Got
You know, so but if it's not, say you open it up 2 years ago,
Yeah.
you ain't made no payments, get out of it.
Yeah, got you.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's not going to affect you nothing like how, you know, some of our accounts was. Like my oldest account is since 2006 or 7. So if I was to take that long account off, I probably would have a 100-point dip in my credit score because of that payment history.
Yeah.
So
And it's only so many, what do you call those accounts that people add on and pay? It's only so many
Credit
trade lines without
builders.
putting
Yeah, it's only so
Without
many
Credit
of
putting
builders.
those.
It's not.
your
It's-
own.
right, primary.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah,
they don't
yeah,
all
I got
help
you.
with they don't
Yeah.
all help, because I have someone that actually has a thick file. They wanted to add a credit builder that had the limit,
Yeah.
and the credit didn't move
It ain't because
it
it's
didn't
already
help.
too many accounts.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, it's not. And see, this is the things that we teach people too. Like, hey, just because that Ava account made it work for no,
4K.
I'm just
Yeah.
keeping it 100. That's not going to work for you, and this is the reason why it's not going to work for you. You know, but I hear people, you know, being an affiliate of that company and just putting that company on everybody's, you know, credit, and they come to me. I say, you didn't need that on your credit. It ain't doing nothing.
So you have someone that is 18, 19 years old looking, and they don't have any idea where to start. Where should they start to build the credit?
We take them straight into building it. Like those kind of accounts, like maybe
help.
an Ava or something, will
Okay.
help those people. Because guess what? If they give you a $2,500 credit limit and you only paying $30 a month, that's almost at an 80-something% utilization. You're not going to. It's going to help you versus hinder you.
Yeah.
What was that jewelry one? We used to do the jewelry.
Yeah, all the
My
jewelry one.
jewelers.
Oh my
Hey,
God, that was the
boo.
best.
Hi.
That $5,000 limit. I had everybody on that.
Huntington.
That's like the
hold
starter
Listen.
kit right
You know,
there.
I actually started with that in 2016 on my own credit with the My Jewelry when I was rebuilding my
Really?
credit. That was like
Everyone did.
that was like,
That
and
was
it,
the
and it helped
lick.
so much. I mean, bro, when I tell you,
That was the lick right there.
That was the lick.
It
and
was
I
My
couldn't believe
Jewelers
they
in
got rid of it.
Huntington. Huntington.
Finger
right?
Hut.
Yeah,
Hunting Chase, something like that.
yeah. They all them kind of, they don't have that stuff no more.
Finger Hut does that exist still?
I ain't
I
never.
seen on the last.
I started with
somebody's
that
credit
when I was
report did, They
starting
was
as
still
a-
looking for a collection. They was looking to collect their
I was
money.
19 when I had that
So-
card.
So look,
Yeah.
real quick, dealing with credit clients, right?
Yeah.
So you know, with Day and her credit clients, you know, some people think that you're Houdini and you could just make things disappear.
That's why I
in
moved
30
to
days,
funding.
right? Like, have y'all ever had any has anybody ever had a misconception on how credit gets done with you guys?
I think that they still living in the 90s. You remember how everybody was saying the credit sweep back in the day?
Yeah.
And so what does the word sweep sound like?
They
Like,
brought that word back, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I've been seeing on Instagram, yo, we'll sweep your credit in 10 days. I mean,
hey,
5
hey,
hours.
guys, it is a misleading marketing strategy that leads to nothing.
Or it leads to the same thing, and you're upset that you got to be willing to invest in yourself and then not being overpromised something. Be willing to be on any program that say I'm gonna do something in 30 days. You got to be worried about it. So 4 to 6 months, you know, give it time. It didn't take you 30 days to put all of that stuff
It may
on
take you
there.
a year and a half, 2 years
So,
to get
yeah.
excellent credit.
But be willing to be on a program, and whatever, if it's a flat rate or a monthly rate, to get all of that stuff off. I mean, some people come and they got 62 items
Mm-hmm.
on each
92
credit report.
inquiries.
And what I mean by 62 items, that means collections, late fees,
Charge-offs.
inquiries that's
bankruptcy.
put on their some people want you to get rid of their inquiries that they got
with a credit card
Attached
open
attached to
lines,
them.
Yeah.
And you know, it can sometimes, but then sometimes it might shut your account and now you're upset at me.
I mean, I hear all this stuff, even the Metro 2 stuff and everything that everybody's talking about. All these are fancy terms for a big
Yeah.
bunch of nothing, right? It's only one way to dispute your items with the credit bureau. I mean, of course, you got the CFPB, but outside of that, it's still the same as it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Systems just help us move through it quicker.
And freezing Nexus Lexus is not going to remove everything off your credit.
So when somebody has their credit profile together and they're ready to go get funding, what are some of the things that you suggest? Like I've heard credit card stacking, I've heard, different loan. Like what are some of the things you suggest?
We don't really suggest credit card stacking because it depends on what type of business you have.
Okay.
Credit card stacking is good, but it's limited,
Gotcha.
right? I usually suggest lines of credit. The reason that I suggest lines of credit because you can liquidate those easy. And once you use that line of credit, guess what? If you got a $50,000 line and you spent $20,000 and paid it back, it goes back to a $50,000 line. It doesn't just disappear on you. Credit cards, if you spend it, and you don't pay it, it's back on your personal credit and all that. I suggest business credit lines that's not necessarily, your personal guarantees, but you can always reuse those, right? And you can liquidate them too.
Correct.
Yeah.
But going to get hard cash, I'm gonna tell you now, don't start running looking for hard cash. You gotta build up with those lenders for them to even start giving you bigger amounts of money.
Yeah. And credit stacking, I would say, like if you knew that you was about to make a big play, and you needed to liquidate that car, like
you can do that.
About to buy a house or something, you're gonna flip it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the money back. It's nothing wrong with that. But I think what people need to know, or whoever is listening, is there's so many different ways to pull money from a card, and it's not always, going to get a loan for $100,000 without no business plan and just an EIN number.
You can liquidate your cards. I'm gonna give y'all a quick tip for people who don't even know how to do this. So say if you got a business and you got, let's say you got a Chase card. Most Chase cards in business, if you got decent credit, they're going to give you $20,000 or more, right? So you say, okay, how do I liquidate this money off of here without getting penalized for it by getting a cash advance? So what I would do is, if you're a business, let's say you got a credit card processor and you got invoice, you can actually, or have like if that's my partner, I can buy a service from her, invoice it, and then still liquidate my money. Right? If I had to use it that way, I'm not telling people to go do that, but it is ways of getting the cash without getting penalized. The credit card processor probably going to charge you a $60 fee, but you ain't getting penalized by the bank and by them at the same time. So you could liquidate that money, you get that $5,000 off that card and do what you need to do with it, but you should be flipping that $5,000 to $50,000.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be just you liquidating cars so you can get a Birkin.
This high level conversations here.
It's
high level conversation.
Folks can't wait to get that
You
job.
know what I'm saying?
If I got one, I'm
if
up.
you got a good
I'm up.
listen. If you got a good strategy with your funding, you can make 20 times the amount that you got on that funding. If you got a good strategy. If you don't have no strategy, I would tell you right now, don't do it.
And where do they get the strategies from, you guys?
You got to get with the right
Absolutely.
people. You get with first of all, find you a good coach and mentor. It don't have to be us. I mean, if you want to work with us, that's fine. But you need to find you a good coach or mentor that somebody's close to your niche so they can guide you properly, right? You don't need to do this by yourself. Ain't nothing done by ourselves. Look, y'all partners, we partners.
Yeah.
You want to find people who has the right mindset, who's been there, that could take you far, because some people can only take you far as they've been, and they've been nowhere.
And you can't lead yourself to a place you've never been. So remember earlier when I said I never knew what I could do with my credit or any of that stuff. It was because I started learning more and broadening my horizon. And now I can give the people who I've helped before a better contingency of what to do and, so on. So, and you want to be able to keep people like that around you and pay them if they're charging you a fee because they're taking you to a place you never been. So why not? What is it that they call it? Finder's fee.
Yeah.
Why not pay for finder's fee for better word? It's just a finder's fee to get you somewhere else.
And
faster.
that goes back to what you were saying earlier, that people wait. This is why people wait till the last minute to get the help. Because if you know that there's people that you watch every day that know what you need, why are you trying to do it yourself? And now you have 15 inquiries. Well, I got a 750 credit score, but I didn't get approved. You don't know the data points. We do.
You have to get
Talk
Talk about okay. Say if you got a 725 credit score, but you got 20 inquiries.
You're not getting
approved
with no credit, but one is just a student loan, and they think that's enough, and it's not.
You got to build a profile, and it got to look like something. They only want 1, 2, or 3 inquiries. They don't want 20 on your credit because you look desperate.
I mean, shoot. One time for Amex, my credit is, it's been up there for a minute, but because I wasn't paying the Amex in full, when I went to go apply for their cabbage, they nah, your credit card's too high. So even me with the good credit, person that helps with funding and all that stuff, if it's still not paid down or what they feel like, you know,
Right,
what
the
they're looking
statement.
for. They was like, nah, we not. Come back in 6 months and make sure that the Amex is paid off.
That's how I built credit. I didn't know. So one of the things I have one of my homeboys, he's always like, you got to pay by statement date. So I'm thinking you got to carry a balance in order for the card to stay open. We're talking about going back to 2014, 15.
Yeah.
This is before I started doing credit as a profession.
Yeah.
And like 2018 is when I converted because I already knew how to do credit. I just did it for my family and friends and like people in network marketing that was in my crew because they were getting like these lavish cars.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things. And I'm like thinking then Amex was one of them. And they're like, no, you don't pay your statement. And I'm like, what? I thought you're supposed to pay like the minimum. They're like, no. So I'm like, that's not how you build credit. They're like, no, you have to pay it off. You don't, no carry, no balance.
Yeah, that's an Amex card for you.
Yeah.
And then they'll take your
the minimum
down.
payment. The minimum payment, that was just a law put in place that they gotta, you know, follow, but it wasn't meant for us at all.
Listen.
You know, so
got you.
the minimum payment thing, it just takes you into a snowball effect after a while, and it's designed that way.
Does,
right? So if you got 5 cars that you paying the minimum payment on, eventually something else is going to hit your income to where you can't even pay that right way, and now you're going to be so far behind in debt that you didn't even know how you got there.
So you say when you got credit, pay your statement by the statement date.
I say sometimes people like Navy Federal, you could pay it whenever you want to, like far as, you know, before the statement date and all that. But people say 15 days. I haven't seen a significant change on anybody's credit who's doing it 15 days before the due date and 3 days before the statement date. I haven't seen, I mean, I'm just
That's
being
more for the, but I'm like, if you pay by the statement date, there is no interest anyways. Most
No
people don't
interest.
even know. They're like, oh, I thought I was paying interest the whole time. Like, no, you pay no interest if you pay by the statement date.
Exactly.
So don't carry a balance and you're good to go.
Yeah. You know,
and that's when you got it, you know, got things together. But I
Right.
definitely would tell people to never miss a payment.
Ever,
Don't
baby.
miss a
That's
payment. So
what it-
tell you.
basically,
So
do
keep
your
your-
minimum
keep-
payment.
keep the minimum payment on auto pay. I'm telling you, it'll
Yep.
save your life.
In a bank account separate from where you pay everything else. That you at least
Absolutely.
you know the bills is going in there for your
We
statement.
definitely should be talking about these accounts. Like, right, you should not be operating out of one account.
No, and this goes back to the business funding.
This goes back to the business fund. The reason I say that is you're so unprotected when you're operating out of one account, you can't keep up with one account. So if you buying McDonald's out this account and you paying the water bill out this account, and it just gets messy, especially when people looking to lend you money. They just like, this doesn't really look like a business account, you know? So
Yeah.
I always tell my people, open up three business checkings accounts.
And that's minimum.
And that's
'Cause
minimum.
It's like 5 for
But
real.
I know most people ain't gonna go do 10 accounts.
Yeah.
So start off with the first. You just open up 3. You have one for, you know, the income coming in, have one for your taxes, and have another one for your rainy day account. You know, but you don't want to operate just out of one, and you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket in business.
And where do you pay your 1099 contractors or employees from?
Where do I pay them from?
Yeah. Where would you tell someone to pay it out of?
Out of their payroll account.
Out of
they-
accounts receivable?
Yeah, they should have an account just for how they pay their
So
people.
now that's 4.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but we know the minimum. Most people, like she said earlier, they're not going to go open up all these accounts.
But if you wanna
'cause
get
when
funding,
when I was
though,
doing the
If you want to
healthcare-
get funding,
Real funny.
Yeah.
pay attention to what we saying.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
People
saying?
coming to
Because I was
you
doing
and
the healthcare,
myself.
and the Medicaid was paying me in, and we were taking right out of that account, paying it, and then next thing you know, the caregivers, like, you know, they
Something
got crafty. They
happened.
were making fake checks.
Oh,
So
man.
Oh,
that's when
wow.
I learned
Crazy.
to have 2
Different
separate
ones.
accounts.
So are you a nurse or because you have your home health agency? Was it?
No,
Okay.
non-medical. You don't need to be a
Okay.
nurse to be that.
Okay.
You can hire a nurse, but you don't need to be a nurse to be it.
I
but
love it.
yeah, Medicaid, they were paying us, and then because it was the same account, you know, we wasn't really looking until
Tracking
we
it,
seen
right.
that was what happened. So
Right.
now the account that's coming in can't be touched with the account, and we would just shift the money over there when it was time for payroll.
It's important that you say that because, and more people need to really pay attention to what you just said because that happens in a lot of people's businesses. A lot of people.
I
get
would
one
say
account
80% of new
dibble
business
dabble.
owners, we all make that
Yep.
one
At the
mistake.
beginning.
Yeah, we
Oh.
all make that
Yep.
mistake.
Not even in
And-
the beginning. People are still making.
No,
it right
even
now.
10, 20 years in business,
Yeah.
people still doing the wrong stuff. This is what I would tell people right here. This is why you got to have a coach, a mentor, a person that's really vested into what you're trying to do because they will guide you. You should have all those accounts. And if you really a high level advanced entrepreneur that come into my program, you're gonna have way more than that because you're gonna have you're gonna have the brokerage accounts open. You're gonna have your healthcare savings account because entrepreneurs, we don't have healthcare. You're gonna have that account open. You're gonna have any type. You need like 2 or 3 different retirement accounts. You need to have different accounts, and you need to have some of that money going to some of those accounts so that even when you're not tracking and paying attention, that stuff is still making money because it's interest bearing. That's the key to all this. It's not hard as we all think it is.
Yeah.
We just act like it's hard. You just simply go. I mean, every time I tell a client, "Hey, I want you to go to Charles Schwab, open an account," they have this big thing in their head.
Like what?
I don't know how to do that. You know, and this and that. I said, "Have you ever opened a regular bank account?" They say, "Yeah." I said, "It's the same thing."
He had someone that called him. Was it they called you and they said, "Pete, they giving out free bank accounts."
No, I mean. No, that's
they giving out free bank accounts.
No,
Someone from the hood was like,
I was shooting a music video. I can't. I mean, hey, listen, it is what it is. I was shooting a music video, right? And I'm in Philadelphia. I'm in my hood, and I mean, a pretty high level rapper that as well known. And one of his homeboys, I guess he came home from jail, maybe been home a year, and he came in. I mean, he was hyped. He was ecstatic. I mean, he ran in the deli and was like, "Hey guys, look. Man, Bank of America is giving out these things called checking accounts. And they gave me a card and, it's free." And in my head, man, it kind of took me by surprise because I'm like, yo.
He didn't know.
This is not long ago either,
it's just crazy to think that, man, we have so far to go when it comes to learning.
We do.
You know what I'm saying? And I can't even judge him because, shit, I'm probably like that in areas of my life too. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you're right, because before I ever became an entrepreneur and, whatever, I didn't know, like, you go to the bank like, okay, I need an account. I know some money coming in. They like, well, where's your articles? What's that? Okay, I come back with that. Now, where's this? Where's that? So I only know based off of the steps I take. I'm a really follow the yellow brick road type of person. So, and then, sometimes it become overbearing. So most people don't go back and finish. And they just like, oh, that was just too much. Because they stopped
in step 3, for sure.
The one thing I wanna really highlight is go get your credit fixed. Hire somebody to get your credit, number 1. Yeah. Number 2, as soon as you get funding, as soon as that money touch your account, before you go off and think about anything, go hire you a coach, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Immediately, whoever resonates with
Put that into your business budget.
100%, because you need to be guided. We all do.
Yeah.
I have a coach in every aspect of my life. When it comes to wealth, when it comes to health, I have a trainer. When it comes to nutrition, every single place in my life, I have a coach because I want to be elite. I want to be the best, and I don't know everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the only time that you could probably get a great coach is when you get funding. So that's why I'm telling people, when you get that bag, best believe you're going to need that coach for sure.
Yeah, and it's not just, getting somebody to talk to. It's getting somebody who understands where you're going. Like, they really care about where you're going. Like, any one of my mentees, I had a dude tell me, he was menteeing a couple people. And, he's like, yeah, they come in there thinking they going to do better than me. And I said, hey, you're supposed to be mentoring them to do better than you. Where is that lane of thinking coming from?
Exactly.
When I bring these people in, I'm building them up to go out there and do great big things.
And happy to see them win.
Love it.
Exactly.
I ain't gonna lie. You're fraud. Where am I? Listen, if you're a coach out there, right? I hate when people brag about their own. Listen, if you're a coach, I don't want to hear you brag about your money. I want to hear about you brag about the money you help other people make. You're not a real coach if other people aren't doing well, period.
Impact.
You can't get blessed doing stuff like that.
No.
Even if you got money, it may not be there for long. It's the joy in seeing other people succeed is what coaching is all about. When a coach coached the NFL team all the way to the Super Bowl, that's the joy of his life.
Yeah.
Not that he making more money than the players, because most of the players making more money than him, but to see and help people win is why most of those people do that.
Yeah, and if you help enough people get where they need to be,
you're gonna get what you need by default.
And that's just, and the people that's afraid to invest, that means that they maybe don't believe in themselves and they ain't there yet.
Lack of belief, self-belief.
Because most of the time, even if you give it to, unless it's like it's probably 1 out of 10. If you give it to somebody for free, they don't even take it.
No,
you can give
free
them
creates enemies.
Everything, and you do them a disjust. So
I
then you realize,
started noticing when my prices went up, I got better clients.
That too.
1000%. Absolutely.
And I ain't even holding bars. I remember when y'all should have had me when I was charging $2,000 for coaching.
And they don't complain. The ones that you
Oh,
charge
no,
more,
the
they're
people
like easy, like, okay, how's my credit going?
They on time with you, the one-on-one call. They understand the reviews. They're doing the work, the real work, because they paid for you to help them do this stuff. You know, when you got, and I'm not saying that somebody that don't have the money yet wouldn't be that person, but they don't understand the value of it until they get there.
Yeah.
You don't understand the value of that person until you get there.
I told somebody that with credit, I said, I know for a fact I'm one of the cheapest people out there.
She is.
And when they give me a problem, somebody told me, hey, this is just too much money for, what did she say? She gave me the money and didn't want to give me her Social Security. Like she felt, threatened. And I'm like, trying to be professional, like, there's nothing I can do with this because you need my help. But then,
you can't even do nothing with it.
And then
Listen,
I told her to
post it on a building and no one else can do it.
Then sent the information, then erased it, like was just playing games with me. And I'm like,
yeah.
But
that's
like
okay.
that,
you know
though.
what? That person down the road, unfortunately, will cause problems.
Yeah,
so I
it's
just
a
say
problem
forget
child.
about it.
And I like get rid of my
1000%.
information. I said, hey, I haven't even started.
I can't even do
That's a
anything.
person we just honestly. All
come-
money ain't good
I
money.
think everyone has come across that.
And
Yeah.
she'll tell you, she'd be laughing when I tell people, I say, hey, I'm not necessarily a good fit for you.
I don't think we would be a good fit.
fact.
I have said that.
I'm being 100 with the person because I'm not in it to take your money.
Right.
But I'm just not a good fit for you.
Yeah, and then, if I told you it's a 30 to 45 day process, and then you're finding me on Facebook 15 days from last time, I haven't heard of anything.
On a chat, like,
I'm not looking at your stuff.
What
I've already put it through the process. I already have a reminder. I already have an administrative team. If I'm not looking at it, and I've already gave you the system and told you, check this system every 45 days. Please play your credit monitoring system. And then you see me on Facebook and say I'm in Miami. And you're bothered. You actually think your $500 took me to Miami. I'm helping you.
That's funny. They do that all the time.
That's
I see
whack.
you took a trip. You took a trip with my money. First of all, you ain't even covered the plane
That's
trip,
whack.
my boy.
That's
Like,
real whack.
you feel me?
That's whack.
But look, before we get out of here, man, I just want, so the average, person watching this show, young entrepreneur or just an entrepreneur that's beginning their journey, I want each of y'all to just talk to that person and give them some advice on how they can really transform their lives in 2025.
So basically, I'm going to talk to my young self. How you can transfer your life is first by, I'm supposed to be looking over there. How you can transfer your life, and me talking to my old self, is making up your mind, making a decision, whether that's going to be an entrepreneur or that's going to be working class. Definitely go after, if you're going to be in a working class, go after a career that's needed, because if you go after an entry-level job, you can be replaced by AI or by robots, by just anybody. But if you can go and fix the computer, go for that. Then go into investments accounts. Also protect yourself. If you go into investment accounts by opening up still a LLC, it can be your name. That's what I would tell my young self. So again, my name is Myla. I'm from the Bulletproof Entrepreneurs, and you can find me on IG at MyLove2004 or CitySpan.
Yeah, just young people in general who's thinking about going into entrepreneurship. We know school is not for everybody. It wasn't for me. I would say take it serious. If you got an idea, you got a hobby, you need to take it serious. If you're a music artist, take it serious. But the first thing you want to do before you even start doing business is set the business up correctly. It doesn't matter what field you're in. Everybody should be legally set up as a business. And you can start off with a single member LLC. That's fine. Do you want to stay there? Probably not as you grow because of tax purposes, but set the business up. It's real easy, guys. It's not hard. About $100, get your business set up, and that way you're legal, right? You also want to, think about getting you a coach and a mentor. Don't even if you don't have to have a coach and a mentor, like, go and pay $1,000 right now, but it's somebody in your niche that's doing what you like doing. Reach out to them on social media and say, hey, do you mind if I shadow you? Or can you tell me some things that I could do better in my business? You got to be actively looking for the information. right? Because we don't know a whole lot of things. Work on your credit. The younger you are, you should be looking at credit as as a source, right? As a tool. It shouldn't be to just run it up and run the bag up and all this crazy stuff that we be talking about, but use the credit as a tool. You want to get close to that 720 as possible, right? Also, when you're starting the business, marketing and I will tell you this, marketing and branding is your friend. The better you can market and brand, the more people eyes get on your stuff, the more sales that you will have. You can't do it all by yourself. Build you a team. Go out there and build. Network marketing is always an excellent source to get started. And guess what? If you need me, you can find me on Instagram at the Brand Boss ATL, or you can find us at Bulletproof Entrepreneurs on Instagram as well, or on YouTube at the Bulletproof Entrepreneurs. I wish you all the best. You know, never give up, keep going, and guess what? You got this.
Bulletproof.
So look, this is what you call a high level information extraction. You feel me? So I just want to say I appreciate you guys, you know what I'm saying, for coming and sharing information with our audience. You got anything to say?
No, I'm just thankful for you guys coming to our podcast. This is Your Daydreams, the credit queen and the trends coach.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. And we out.